Hi, thank you for tuning in. This is Miss Justice from Church Folk Revolution Radio and pimppreacher.com. Hey guys, I just wanted to touch base because, lately, she calls herself Dr. Juanita Bynum without any type of verified, understanding of where her doctorate exactly comes from. But we're going to oblige her during this particular recording and, call her what she calls herself. If that's the way she sees herself, hey, I'm not going to fight her on a doctor part. Not today. Today, I want to talk about Dr. Juanita Bynum, the so-called prophet. For a while, she had kind of gone alternative, kind of independent. She fell out with T.D. Jakes once upon a time. She used to be kind of under his empire, and then they fell out. And it's, we don't know why. And, some people say that it was because of money, some type of money falling out. I don't really know. I don't really know. But apparently Juanita now is like this free agent, and she's been, going around. She had her season where she had the threshing floor, a whole lot of nonsense where she was, made this whole paradigm of going before God with this thing called threshing floor. And she had kind of created this whole altar experience with this so-called sacred floor, where she felt like she was approaching the throne of grace, and that was the place where she was, just falling out and stuff, whatever. Okay, so she had her seasons. We kind of all looked, from the outside or from the sidelines, kind of side-eyeing her. But back then, she was still getting her feet up under her and trying to find her place as a free agent in the church industry. And it's very rare nowadays that you can be a free agent. I probably should write about that. But there aren't too many people going it alone anymore without some type of sponsorship, which disables your free agent status. But we'll come back to that at a later date. But lately, Dr. Juanita Bynum has been making a comeback as far as the national stage and in the church industry, national stage, and being all of a sudden invited to speak. She's been putting on these prayer conferences and things of that sort. She did a conference with Eddie Long recently, which, we just kind of, I didn't even write about that because it was just some nonsense. But lately she has gone on this campaign, and I don't know this is my theory. This is my theory about Dr. Juanita Bynum, because this past year, with the unfortunate accident and tragedy with Bobbi Kristina, daughter of the late Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown, when they found her in the state that she was in, and they immediately took her to the hospital, and they were unsure for months if she was going to even recover. But back in February, Juanita Bynum called herself launching this campaign, praying for Bobbi Kristina. And in and of itself, it was a whole video production of a prayer that she prayed back in February sometime. She had published it on her Facebook page, where she is seen praying this very elaborate, lengthy prayer at some church she was speaking at. And you can see this at pimppreacher.com. If you go and Google pimppreacher.com and Juanita Bynum, Bobbi Kristina, praying for Bobbi Kristina. And when I posted the video initially, I didn't get very kind remarks. I got remarks and feedback from groupies and some people that weren't groupies but just wanted to give Dr. Juanita Bynum the benefit of the doubt, saying, hey, it's her right to pray. You know, what are you doing? You should also be praying for Bobbi Kristina. There's nothing wrong with praying for this poor girl whose, you know, hands or, you know, whose life is in, you know, is life or death situation. She needs all the help that she can get. Blah, blah, blah. I get that to a degree. My point at the time that I had with the video back in February, that, again, please examine the video very closely, because what you will see is Juanita Bynum, if you're really paying attention, she's promoting herself. And this is my take on it. This was my initial take on it, and I stand by it today, months later. I feel very affirmed in what I am saying now than I did back then. But back then it was a theory, and now it's still a theory, but I feel very solid in it now. Is that back then, Juanita Bynum, Dr. Juanita Bynum, was using this situation, because you very rarely see Dr. Juanita Bynum producing any type of video about anybody else, anybody else's daughter, okay, or son, who's in a critical situation where they're basically what do you call that? When they're basically in intensive care and they could die any day. You don't see this from her about anybody else's son or daughter where she actually launched this campaign. And the problem I had with it was you continuously see her name strolled across the bottom as, you know, identifying who she is. This was highlighted several times throughout the video, and then also highlighted throughout the video was a branding that she was attempting to launch, hashtag pray for Bobbi Kristina. I had an issue with that because I felt like she was using this tragedy to promote herself and her ability and her skill as a prophet. And that's not her job. And if she is a prophet, a true prophet, would never do anything like this to promote themselves. So I didn't see her motivation as pure. I still stand by that today. I don't see Juanita Bynum's intentions as pure when it came to Bobbi Kristina from the get-go. I just didn't see it. I tried to warn people back then, you need to watch out for this woman. She's a false prophet anyway. We have proof of this. PimpPreacher.com has been writing about her for years now. You know, last year we caught her in a Facebook controversy where she was confronted by I guess a follower of hers daughter. Okay, so the follower was older, she was ill, and she had and you can see this on PimpPreacher.com again. But this woman had confronted Juanita Bynum on her official page because her mom had passed away. And the daughter was angry. She came to Dr. Juanita Bynum's page and she specifically said, you know, you sold my mother a healing sheet. And she sold, you know, a lot of money, as other people did, thousands of dollars for healing. And people still died, and her mother died. And she felt like her mother was a victim, and she died after supposedly prophetic Juanita Bynum told her that she would be healed. Well, her mom died, and she confronted Juanita Bynum about it. And that was last fall. The reason why I'm bringing this up, it's important, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Juanita Bynum, Dr. Juanita Bynum, did not respond on her own page, on her own official or I think it was Ambassador Juanita Bynum at the time her official page had read. And no, I don't know where the ambassador came from, but she responded by way of one of her friends on her page. And I thought that was strange, but it's going to be relevant in just a moment. But if you go to our page, our blog, where Juanita Bynum spoke to daughter of deceased, that your mother sowed the wrong type of seed, and you can read it. I'm not going to get into it from here. The point I'm trying to bring out is that Juanita's scam with her healing sheet, she's trying to explain and respond to this woman of the deceased Juanita follower, telling her that this is Dr. Juanita Bynum. I'm responding to you from my engineer's page. That first sentence is very important. I want to highlight it. I want to make sure you're aware of it, because I am not sure why Dr. Juanita Bynum does this. I am not sure why she does this. Juanita is her page, so she could have logged in as herself and just said whatever she needed to say to respond to this grieving daughter. But she chose to respond through another person, another vessel. And but she identified herself as this is indeed Dr. Bynum. And again, you can see that on pinpreacher.com. This is important because now, fast forward, to July now, where all of us know the tragic news that Bobbi Kristina did not recover, even though Juanita said that she would, that a miracle was here for her. Not only did you get that sense of that in the prayer, this elaborate prayer that she prayed back in February, but even then we have screenshots of the things that she said in recent weeks before Bobbi Kristina passed, that Bobbi would indeed recover because there was a miracle for her, and that Jesus was going to turn Bobbi Kristina's situation around. Well, shortly thereafter, Bobbi Kristina died, and it was reported everywhere that she had indeed passed away. So we confronted Juanita about that. She had given a false prophecy. We didn't believe her motives were pure when she was praying for Bobbi Kristina before. You can see on my Twitter page that we actually had a little back and forth. The little bit of nuance with this is that her Twitter and Facebook accounts, now her Ambassador Juanita Bynum page was actually shut down. She removed that page, and now what you see is a Juanita Bynum official. It says it's an official page, but when you read the About tab, it says it's a fan page, okay? So remember when I told you earlier about her responding through her quote-unquote engineer. I am not sure what's going on with Juanita Bynum, but she doesn't like to get into any type of confrontation or be challenged about any of her prophecies or anything like that that's going to link her back to some type of official capacity. So she responds through these, what do you call them, surrogates. And it's her, she's talking, but she's using this surrogate page. And so we don't know why she goes through all this trouble to do that, but we do see a pattern that has emerged over this past year of her doing that, of her responding through another person, but still identifying herself as Juanita Bynum. If you check my Twitter page and you check our back and forth, she again identifies herself as Juanita Bynum, even though it says official Juanita Bynum. If you read the About, or even on Twitter, it says it's the handle is actually at Juanita Bynum fan. So again, I don't know what all the peeping and hiding is and the shell games and all of that about who she is. What I do know is that Juanita Bynum is a false prophet. She refuses to repent for anything that she has predicted, foresaw, foretold, that she said God said. She didn't even say this is what I think. She said that, that this is what Jesus is going to do for this girl. and that she put a demand on God, and that she put her quote unquote ask on the table. This is all consistent with her elaborate prayer. I'm not going to really take up any more of your time. I just wanted to clear that up because some people were asking about the official page capacity. Juanita Bynum is a false prophet, and she's slippery. She's very slippery. But Juanita, we got you. And we're recording everything that you're doing. And shame on those that are still inviting you to speak. We're going to be holding them accountable as well. This is Miss Justice, and this is Church Folk Revolution Radio and PimPreacher.com. You have a great evening, but stay tuned.